Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Entrepreneurs Hangout podcast. We are on season 4 and episode 3. Actually, episode 6. And I am here with Sophie Zolman, all the way from Nashville, Tennessee. Sophie, say hey and introduce yourself, please.
Hey, I am Sophie Zolman. Like she said, I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. I am the owner and founder of FMD Strategic Partners. We take the guesswork out of digital marketing to get real results for 7 and 8 figure service providers. I am also an 80s pop Stevie Nicks witchy woo woo woman. And if you're watching, you can see the Harry Potter stuff behind me. I'm also a Harry Potter nerd, poker player, and beach lover.
I love it. We're going to have to talk about that. That is great. So, Sophie and I met, I guess we were going to say we met on Facebook, where a lot of our newest friends hang out, right?
Yes.
Of course. And also we are streaming this on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and also on Sophie's channel. So whatever you've got going on, you can come on board. We can answer some questions, or you can put your comments in the links below, and we'll tidy up this episode, and anything that Sophie's got going on, we'll have those in the show notes as well. So, Sophie, you want to talk about the 3 biggest marketing mistakes that business owners do. And I could think of loads more than 3, but what are the biggest? So tell us a little bit.
Oh yeah, there are tons of mistakes business owners make, but there are those that are more impactful mistakes than others. And I have kind of honed in on the top 3, or at least the top 3 from our perspective in what we do and what we've seen over the years as a marketing company. And the first one is, I call it throwing spaghetti against the wall to see what sticks. Having no strategy, no process, no planning, no nothing. Just going with whatever they think is the thing to do, or what their competition is doing, or whatever they feel like that may or may not be conducive to generating the results they want. So, our number one thing is you got to have a strategy and a plan. So if you're not doing a strategy and a plan that is very specific and custom to who you are, what you do, who you serve, all of those things, you are just throwing spaghetti against the wall. You're not going to figure out what works, because the idea is we figure out what works, what gets results, and then you maximize it. And then you rinse and repeat it in different areas so that you can expand you can grow your business, grow your leads, whatever it is that you're trying to do. And you can do it in multiple ways on different platforms, and potentially, depending upon who you are and what you do, each different revenue stream you have in your business has a strategy and a plan that works, because you got it going on this one. So we just tweak it and make it rinse and repeat on all the others.
I like it. If we would have had our notes before, what we could have done is do this like infographic, or almost like a GIF, where we got, throwing spaghetti up against the wall or something like that. But I think I love that one too, because it really is. Think about this, people. Spaghetti sticking to the wall is really, really complicated. You throw a lot of stuff out there, and maybe one noodle sticks to the wall. So it's a lot of effort for not a lot of sticking, if you will.
Right. So if you don't know which noodle stuck, you don't know how to rinse and repeat it and make it work over and over again.
Yeah. I think that's great. Do you think that is one of the mistakes in your mind? And I think I'd like to think about this as well. Are those new businesses that do that because they don't have a strategy? I mean, I've got my opinion, but what's yours?
It's seasoned. It's everybody, and it's everybody who is not even remotely familiar with marketing strategy. They're trying to do it all themselves, or they're hiring someone to do it, but it's someone who is doing it. And because there's a difference between strategy and plan and doing it and just doing it, because you need the strategy and plan to do the work. And a lot of, social media managers, marketing people out there, they just do it. And they're like, well, we're going to do blog posts and social posts and this, that, and the other, but they don't have, themes and campaigns and KPIs and things that, and it's like, a lot of them just say, oh, well, you got 20 new followers. Guess what, guys? Vanity metrics don't matter anymore.
Right.
Not at all.
And
pretty much.
And you know what? Here's the deal. 20 more followers. I don't care if it's 100 more followers. They're not buying from you. So what are they doing? They're following you. That's great. But that does not put money in the bank.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, you want new followers and hopefully they're the right followers. But the ultimate goal of what you're doing in your marketing is to get leads and sales and revenue and all of those things, whether you sell physical products or services. You're not in business to just get followers on Facebook admiring you. That's not what you're in business for.
No, exactly. And I also think too, when you do marketing, all of your marketing efforts need to be converting. You have to have highly converting marketing efforts. Otherwise, again, you're spending a lot of time and a lot of money getting nowhere.
Right. Exactly. Every year it gets more and more difficult and therefore expensive in a lot of cases to get marketing going the right way, to get it working. But when you do, that's when you can actually maximize your ROI and your spend, because you're doing it the right way. You know what works, you know what doesn't work, you know where to throw your marketing dollars instead of just spewing them everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So now what's number 2?
Number 2 is doing the marketing yourself, especially when you hate doing it. If you're on social media and you hate doing it, it shows, whether you believe it or not, or think it or not, because when you're coming up with content from the headspace of, oh God, I got to make another social media post, and I got to make another blog post. It reflects in your copy, in your tone, in the things that you're doing out there. It's not your best work. And therefore it's not going to resonate. It's not going to pick up people, and it's not going to get you your results. So, delegating your marketing to experts who are not only experts, but experts who love what they do, because there is something to being passionate about what you do. And you're not, unless you own a marketing company like I do, marketing is not your thing, and it shouldn't be your thing. You should be focused on the revenue generating things and the things that only you can do in your business, not trying to be the owner with all the different hats on, including the marketing hat.
Yeah. And don't you find that it's us teaching them, what it is about the marketing? Because you've got to know, when I do marketing for people, it's like, I like to know their business. I like to know their ins and outs. I want to know what their goals are. I want to know, what have you been doing and what's been going wrong? And I've got an analogy of who I work with, but I want to get through your 3 biggest mistakes first. And then what we might do is just dive in and kind of dissect a few of them.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this will be fun. I love it. Keep going.
All right. So biggest mistake number 3.
So number 3 kind of wraps this all up into like the third one, that is the other key, is they don't have metrics, KPIs, and trackable goals for what they're doing in their marketing. They're just doing anything everywhere, and they can't, they may get results, they may not. They don't set KPIs. They don't set specific campaigns with specific goals. They don't even choose, half the time they're not even choosing a topic structure and a content structure that can have measurable goals, because one day you're talking about fried eggs and the next day you're talking about concrete on your sidewalk. And it's like, what?
Well, you could talk about them. Hang on. You could talk about frying eggs on concrete.
You could. And that would be putting them together. But then you'd have to go from eggs to concrete to eggs and concrete. But if you don't make that third one, you're not tying anything together. And, again, it's still, if you're not keeping a content calendar and a content plan where you can look at your analytics and go, oh my gosh, this blog post killed it. I need to do
Right.
more of copy like this, and I need to repurpose it and do, whatever the case may be. Because when you find the copy, the messaging, and the platforms that work, that's when you start to know what works, what doesn't, and you can start really fine tuning your strategy and your plan and what you do to really maximize it from there. But it does start with the strategy, the plan, and KPIs and measurable goals that somebody else can do for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed. Because it's like, for me, everybody's got areas of expertise. Everybody's got something that they're good at, and people have also got something that they're not good at, right?
Right.
And you are either a detailed person, you're a big picture person. I happen to be a big picture person. Please do not send me a 12-page email. I'm not going to read it. Okay, I'm not. I'm a scanner. I'm a scanner. So you already know, are you a long form or a short form person, right? And that's important to know how you're going to talk to your clients. Because again, if you send me, something that's very long, I'm probably going to scan it. I like bullet points. I like things to the point. It's much easier on my eyes to read and to soak into my head, right? So
Absolutely.
My point with this is, if you're not a detailed person, or metrics or KPIs aren't your thing, you've got to have somebody else helping you gauge this.
Absolutely. And part of what you're saying is you got to know who your ideal client is, down to
Right.
the nitty gritty, not just their demographics. You've got to know their psychographics, their likes and dislikes, their passions and pain points. There was a trend for a while where you either spoke to their pain points or you spoke to their passion points. Nowadays, It's like you got to speak to both, because you really got to get into the depth of who your ideal client is, down to their heart and soul. Because if you're not speaking to them on that deep level, you're basically speaking to everyone and nobody's listening, because there's nothing there that really hits them where it counts to get their attention. And that's a part of a strategy, a plan, and KPIs, is digging that deep into what you have going on in your business with your marketing and what you do.
Yeah, I think that's right. So what do you think of, let's just, I think talking about a couple of things of maybe there's some favorites that we like to talk about, but let's talk about Facebook Lives and also social media. How do you actually, what's your opinion on how do you actually make a difference on, marketing your business on Facebook? And I'm not talking about ads yet. I think I'll ask that question later, but just in general, where are you showing up at?
Well, Facebook is so ever changing and so temperamental, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
And it's different, it's different between a personal page, a business page, and a Facebook group, or groups, plural, and a lot of it depends on who you are and what you do and who your ideal client is. That helps you figure out what to put on Facebook. For me, I'm on both the personal and the business page, and I cross post and I do different things.
Yeah.
And I get more personal on one than the other potentially, but it's all, and I know these are buzzwords, but if you really show up like this, it's not a buzzword. It is about being real and raw and authentic and genuine. And, if that includes F-bombs, so be it. But don't do F-bombs just for the shock factor of getting attention, because that's where the authentic and genuine becomes a buzzword and becomes BS, where you're concerned because you're doing something that's not really you. Yeah. So, and I find it fascinating that Facebook has now just announced that Facebook Lives are only going to be on your account for 30 days.
I know.
Which tells me
you can't go live.
Trying to get rid of the live thing. And it's
I get it.
Okay. So if you're going to do lives, you need to do really impactful lives that are going to stand out and get into the algorithm, because if you don't, it will be gone in 30 days. And it's not a waste of time, but it makes you really think about your live strategy, because you've got to do something that's really going to kick ass, or
Right.
it's going to be useless because it's going to be deleted in 30 days and no one's ever going to see it again. It's not like you can re-highlight it and all those things, because they're going to delete it in 30 days. And once they do that,
Right.
it's gone. And that material and
Yeah.
that content is gone.
Well, or what I would say is, again, is repurposing it. You have to repurpose your stuff. And,
Absolutely.
it's like, okay, if you don't have whatever your deal is, you're on Facebook for a reason, you're marketing yourself for a reason. So let's say that you're a coach and you've got a group and whatever, right? And you're putting content out there in your group, which now is different because you can't necessarily, like, I can't go live on StreamYard to my group, which I used to be able to do, right? So I don't know why. I mean, what difference does that make? They're obviously, it's a cost thing or bandwidth or who knows what. But at the same time, then download it and put it into your media room, put it into your YouTube so that you can do that. So you're going to have to become the master of repurposing.
Absolutely. And that's, that's where those analytics and whatnot come in, because if you do a live and over that 30 days, that live is kicking butt and then you want it to keep kicking butt, then yes, you need to download it. And as soon as they delete it, you need to re-upload it and put it right back in your feed, and also repurpose it in other ways. Take, copy out, like transcribe it and start creating more topics around it, more talks around it, so that you're building that. You can still do your lives, but you're doing lives that have impact that can then be repurposed again. And you can just keep, it kind of sounds convoluted, but if you've got a marketing team doing the work, it's not a big deal for them to set up a project in your task management system to go, okay, we do lives we do lives 3 times a week. So every 30 days, 3 times a week, we're putting the copy of the live right back up if it was one worth putting back up. It's just, it's an additional few steps in your strategy and your plan, but your team is doing the work. Because if you have to do all of that, you're going to go nuts and you're not going to want to do it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so I think let's touch a little bit on teams, because it's like, so I've always had a team, right? I mean, I spent 25 years in commercial real estate and I was always an entrepreneur. I've taught, mentored entrepreneurship my whole life. But at the same time, so like I'm talking about, I don't even remember when, I bet you early 90s, when Timothy Ferriss just came out with his book, the 4-Hour Work Week. I love that book. It is one of my favorites still to this day, right?
Yep.
And I wished he would have come out with another one, but he hasn't. The thing of it is, though, is I then figured out, like, okay, wait, I obviously need a team. And I've had a team since then, right? But I think, though, when people think that they can be solopreneurs and they can do it all on their own, you cannot grow and scale a business without having a team. Absolutely. And without paying for a good team, because your team is worth their weight in gold. You cannot make money without a proper team.
100%, because and the reason why you're paying them well for what they do is because you're hiring experts who are specialists in a lot of cases, and they have many years experience. And that's what you want on your team. You don't want, I mean, everybody starts somewhere, don't get me wrong. And you can get experience as a newbie in different ways, in different places. But when you are, when you've hit multiple 6 figures, 7 figures, if you're still on your own, you are in trouble, because you are going to fall on your face. But when you're at that level, it is worth every penny to pay for the right help, because the cost of the turnover of hiring cheap help, inexperienced help, things like that, is so much worse than taking that budget and going, I'm going to spend my budget correctly, and I'm going to spend money, because you do have to spend money to make money. And it really
who thought of that? Who came up with that saying? I wished we did, but I know we didn't. But I don't know.
No, I did. Yeah, no, exactly. That's not my quote. I don't remember who said that either, but it is the truth. And the other piece of this spending money to make money is, and this might be, I don't know if this is a Robert Kiyosaki thing, but leveraging other people's money.
Oh, yeah. I think it might be E-Myth.
That might be E-Myth. Yeah, that could be. It might be E-Myth.
Yeah.
But, leveraging other people's money as well. A lot of people are like, oh, debt is bad. Don't go into debt. Don't do this. But strategic debt, especially with a business,
Right.
is absolutely a good thing to do, because you are going to, when you're spending your debt correctly, it's going to have the return on investment, and you're going to be able to pay that debt really
Correct.
easily, still be profitable, and all of those things.
Yep.
Because if you're trying to go on a shoestring budget or a cash only budget, you are going to
You're setting yourself up
stagnate
for
yourself
failure.
and kill yourself and not be able to get anywhere.
Yeah. So I've got this analogy that I like to use. Now it's bizarre, but I think you and I are around about the same age, maybe. So maybe you're going to like it. It's like this. So, a team and your business is like this spoke, a wheel on a bicycle with spokes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if those spokes are all broken, or this one's missing, or that one's out of joint, your bicycle is not going to go around smoothly. In fact, your bicycle is going to probably lose its wheel. You're going to smash and you're going to burn. That's what you're going to do, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And when I got my team well-oiled, as in well-oiled machine, and I've gone through team members. I mean, they don't always stay with me. They can't stay with you for life, right? But
Right.
at the same time, my team needs to be cohesive and work together. And I don't do this. I am not a micromanager. So I'm like, I trust that you've got it going on. Report back to me. Do not bring me problems, bring me solutions. That's how I am. That's just me. But at the same time, I started doing that with okay, weekly team meetings. Are we all on the same page? Blah, blah, blah. Because I got, when, I don't know, maybe 10, 12 years ago, I went through this thing of my team was not talking with each other, right? And I'm like, it felt like nothing is getting done. Nothing. The clothes in this laundry, in this washing machine are never getting clean.
Right.
And it drives me nuts. And I want to pull out my hair. And I know a lot of entrepreneurs and solopreneurs, they're like that. They have a broken business.
Yep. Absolutely. And, hiring a team includes the leader of the team, because yes, you'll be the leader at first, but as you grow, because you have delegated all of that work to those experts and they're killing it, and in a good way, and you're making more money, that's when you make that step to a fully team managed business, and you hire your second in command, whatever you want to call that, COO, DOO, whatever. When you find the right second in command, who basically steps in and becomes the leader of the team and the operations of the business, you further alleviate your burden of being in the weeds of the business. You get to work on the business. You get to be the leader, the visionary. You get to step fully into your genius and your freedom to do whatever you want, including that 4-hour work week. Yeah. And I mean, you may even have a 1-hour work week once you get a second in command that is rocking it for you. And it all, that is the only way to really scale a business effectively and easily and sustainably. I have a thing about ease and grace, time and space. I did the hustle grind for far too long, ran myself into the ground multiple times over, not just once. I'm a little bit hard-headed sometimes, and
aren't we all?
Likes to beat me up a few times. But the hustle grind is not it. It is not. It's not a badge of honor. It is not this great warrior thing you want to brag about. Hustle grind is not good. You need to be doing it with the ease and grace and time and space you want in your life and your business, because you did not start your business to be in that hustle grind mindset. Right. And to be working all the time and not have family time, vacation time, all those things. So, when you take that leap of faith and you spend that money to get that excellent team, it is going to be a return on investment in spades. And you're going to see that you can take a 30, 60-day vacation and live it up, and your company runs without you and continues to grow and sell more without you, because 100%. You're not there hovering in it and stuck in it and trying to do it all yourself, or doing it with a less than team.
Yeah. So we're going to close it out, but I talked to a gentleman yesterday, which was a guy that has a painting business in Missouri. And we got tied to I have a nonprofit called Wings of Growth. So I belong to a nonprofit. It's an impact lab, right? So, and we're talking to each other, and I'm like, how can I help you? And he goes, what I'm trying to do is just figure out like how he wants more time. He wants more time so that he can go impact people as well. And so wrapping it up, you guys, that's why we start businesses. We don't start businesses because you want to clock in, clock out, or work your tail off. You start businesses to actually have the time to do the things you love, to make the impacts you want, to spend the time with your family and spend the time with yourself.
100%.
Doing the things you love. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. That you know, and that's where the poker playing comes in for me. As I've been growing my own business and doing my own thing, and I'm an empty nester. My kids are grown. I have a grandson that I want to spend time with. But my husband and I are looking at, our future, and, how are we going to build wealth and income so that we both don't have to work the rest of our dang lives. I love my business. I love what I do, but I don't want to be doing this at 90 years of age. No. I do want to be doing other things. And we've had poker as a hobby for years. I mean, literally 10, 15 years. And it just occurred to us last year to go, you know what? We should switch gears and make this an income stream for us. We should actually, I call it going pro. I consider myself a part-time professional poker player now, because I'm not just playing for fun and recreation. I'm literally playing for fun, recreation, and money to build our income streams so that, I can, and for anybody who plays poker, the WSOP is the big tournament in Vegas. And even these 15 years later, since I started playing poker, no woman has won that tournament.
So maybe Sophie's
They're waiting for me to be that woman. So in the next few years, watch out. Here I come. That's part of my plan as a professional poker player, is to go in there and be that first woman to win it and set us up for so much more beyond that. And,
that's great.
I can't do that if I'm stuck in my business all day, every day, because that tournament is like 2 to 3 weeks long. I got to be playing.
I love it, Sophie. Good job. Good job. All right, you guys. So now we're going to wrap it up. I'm going to say bye for now. If you would like to be a guest on my Entrepreneurs Hangout podcast, hit me up. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me almost anywhere. So hit me up and we're going to get you on this podcast. Bye for now.